Minneapolis, January 7th. A cold morning turns deadly as shots ring out. Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old American citizen, lies dead after a confrontation with ICE agents. It is a spark that ignites a national firestorm.
Reports indicate Good used her vehicle to block an ICE transport during a massive sweep. When an agent approached her door, she sped forward, leading to 3 fatal shots fired at point-blank range.
This tragic encounter is not an isolated incident. Since ICE became the primary weapon in President Trump's second-term immigration crackdown, controversy has followed the agency at every turn, raising questions about safety and civil rights.
To understand the present, we must look back 20 years. In the wake of the September 11th terrorist attacks, the United States passed the Homeland Security Act to fundamentally restructure national defense.
The Department of Homeland Security was established to combat terrorism, protect borders, and manage customs. In 2003, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, was born, with a mission to deport those residing illegally.
Originally, ICE was a smaller force, but by late 2025, the landscape changed dramatically. The Trump administration began a massive recruitment drive, adding 12,000 new agents to their ranks for large-scale operations.
Todd Lyons, appointed as acting director in early 2025, leads this expanded force. His leadership marks a definitive shift toward a more aggressive, enforcement-first culture within the agency and across the country.
While previous administrations used ICE to manage borders, the current approach is vastly different. Historians note a shift from service-based immigration management to a system focused almost entirely on forced removal and coercion.
Upon returning to the White House in 2025, President Trump promised to deport up to 1 million people per year. To lead this charge, he appointed former ICE Chief Tom Homan as the national border czar.
Homan is tasked with overseeing the largest deportation operation in American history. His strategy relies on high-impact raids and a significant increase in the federal budget to fuel these massive logistical requirements.
The numbers are staggering. The budget for ICE in fiscal year 2025 reached nearly $29 billion, triple the amount of previous years. This funding allows for unprecedented surveillance and tactical equipment.
With an estimated 14 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S., the scale of the task is immense. Critics argue the methods used to find them are turning American suburbs into tactical zones.
One of the most controversial tactics involves agents wearing face masks and plain clothes. Many operate out of unmarked vehicles, often drawing weapons during routine stops in crowded public spaces. Acting Director Lyons defends these tactics, stating that masking protects agents and their families from retaliation. However, for the public, the lack of identification creates fear and confusion during high-stakes arrests. Operations have shifted into the heart of major cities. ICE agents now target workplaces, courthouses, and transit hubs. These areas, once considered safe for completing legal paperwork, are now primary zones for enforcement.
In many cases, ICE coordinates with Customs and Border Protection. Together, they execute aggressive maneuvers, including breaking vehicle windows and using physical force to detain suspects in front of bystanders.
Tensions are highest in so-called sanctuary cities. These Democratic-led jurisdictions often refuse to cooperate with federal agents, leading to a direct confrontation between local leaders and the White House.
Jason Hauser, a former ICE official, warns that the pressure to meet a quota of 3,000 arrests per day is driving dangerous behavior. He believes these aggressive tactics will eventually erode all public trust.
But the administration remains defiant. DHS officials argue that their agents are heroes who put their lives at risk every day to enforce the law, facing what they call smear campaigns from political opponents. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin emphasizes that agents are trained to use the minimum force necessary. She maintains that public safety remains the top priority during every operation, regardless of how it appears on camera.
By the end of 2025, estimates show that 622,000 people were repatriated. While a massive number, it still falls short of the 1 million per year goal set during the campaign trail.
Currently, ICE holds over 68,000 people in detention centers across the nation. These facilities are reaching capacity, prompting plans for a massive construction project in the coming year.
The border czar, Tom Homan, has already signaled that 2026 will be even more intense. Billions more in funding have been requested to expand the reach of the agency into every corner of the United States.
The plan includes hiring thousands more staff and opening new high-tech detention hubs. This infrastructure is designed to streamline the process from initial arrest to final deportation flight.
For those on the ground, the fear is palpable. In Minneapolis, the death of Renee Nicole Good remains a haunting reminder of the high stakes involved when federal enforcement meets local resistance.
Local authorities continue to investigate the shooting, but the incident has already become a symbol. For some, it represents necessary law and order. For others, it is an example of an agency out of control.
The ideological divide over ICE reflects the deeper divisions within America itself. One side sees a shield protecting the nation's sovereignty. The other sees a sword cutting through the fabric of communities.
As we move into 2026, the intensity shows no signs of waning. ICE's own social media accounts have stated clearly that their busy year was only the beginning of a much larger campaign. With more funding, more men, and a mandate for total enforcement, the agency is poised to reshape the American demographic landscape in ways not seen for a century.
The debate over ICE is no longer just about immigration policy. It is a debate about the soul of American law enforcement and what citizens are willing to accept in the name of national security.
In the streets of Minneapolis and beyond, the echoes of that January morning continue to ring out. The tragedy of Renee Nicole Good is now a permanent chapter in the story of ICE.
As the agency prepares for its next phase, the world watches to see if the promised million-person deportation goal will ever be reached, and at what cost to the nation's conscience. History will be the final judge of these tactics. For now, the agents of ICE continue their work under the cover of masks and the weight of a massive federal mandate. The friction between federal power and local autonomy is reaching a breaking point. How the legal system responds to these aggressive tactics will define the limits of executive power for years to come.
Every arrest, every raid, and every policy change adds a new layer to this complex tapestry of law, politics, and human lives. There are no easy answers in the fight over the border.
The massive $29 billion investment is more than just money. It is a statement of intent. It signals that the United States has chosen a path of total enforcement over compromise. As 2026 approaches, the expansion of detention centers and the surge in personnel suggest that the border czar's vision is becoming a physical reality across the American landscape. But for the families affected and the agents on the front lines, the numbers are personal. Every interaction carries the potential for peace or for the kind of tragedy seen in Minneapolis. ICE, an agency born in shadow, fueled by crisis, and now the most controversial force in the American interior. Its journey is far from over, and the consequences are yet to be fully realized.
The work has only just begun. As the agency stated on the first day of the year, they are ready for what comes next. America waits, divided, for the results of this unprecedented experiment in enforcement.